All right, so here we go. Pop some popcorn, grab a comfy chair. Not too comfy though. This one's gonna take a little bit. Again, we'd be able to break it into like chapters and stuff, but there's a lot to go over, so just bear with me. This is for the retrofit ovals for DHO. So what I did is getting started on this earlier, I had to break it all kind of apart and send files kind of as they were ready so we could get cracking. So the big ovals actually got sent out in various parts. So that meant I would have to kind of jump back and forth between, different files and stuff. And then when it came time to send the small ones out, I was actually able to fit all of those on one file. So to make the video, I'm going to just work with the small frames, and then everything's pretty much the same. And I'll just point out the differences between the big ones and the small ones. But otherwise you can kind of get the idea on both of them. So, but I'm going to use the small one basically. So I'm not going to do like a full lay of the land for the big ones. I'm just going to do lay of the land for the small ones, and then just know that it's going to be basically the same, except the big one kind of got split up. So anyway, starting out, you're going to have wall plates. And again, these are going to be the same plates as the big one. So, but I just keeping it, separated, but you can keep all of these together. And I think, you're going to cut the same 1.5 by 3, all the same. So, but just keep it out for both. This is going to be the same ears that you have on the big ones, except these are in one piece because they're smaller, thankfully. So it makes it easy. Same thing though. While we're here, I want to touch on this. I don't know if I was totally clear. I know the PDF is very clear, but I don't know if I was clear in my description to make sure these are going to be lords to the back side of the main skin. You make sure don't weld on the front of this. You only weld on the back side because the front side needs to be clean, no welds, in order to be able to lords directly to the back side of the skin. So I just want to clarify that in case you didn't see that. But anyway, so you've got your small box returns. These are the for the little discs on the bottom, and we'll be going over what makes this one different. Obviously, so you got some teeth, so that's different than the big ones. Same thing as the big ones, but again, all this fits on one file, so this is great. But it's same thing, except it's not seamed. It all fits in one, makes it easier for you. But you got the same notches and everything. And then again, we'll be going over the fact that one of these is closed in the back, and it needs to be bonded up and look nice because you can see it from the back. Same kind of jiggies. There's just less of them, because these are smaller. But the same kind of corner jigs and everything that you have on the big ones. So look for that. Same 1/4 inch that you got on the big ones. Just I didn't really spend a lot of time for, it's a balance whether you're going to spend all your time reference kissing. So just obviously these are smaller. So, or Jose, keep all this organized and, keep small parts with smalls and keep the bigs with bigs. Same 040 white, very similar to the big ones, except they're smaller. And you're going to have the same panel locks. Same thing as the big one, except these are smaller. I think you're kind of getting the idea. You see the pattern here? Same thing, spars. There's just a little bit smaller. There's less of them because these don't need, there's not so much to support. And here's your main frames. Another thing that I noticed, because in my haste, if you will, I do apologize for this. You're going to have to drill a hole in the verticals of the big boy frames because I didn't see that part of it. So in your verticals here, you're going to need to just put a couple holes to pass your wires through when you do your LEDs. That's all. Sorry about that. Deduct 5 points. But look for all these guys here. You got your verticals, your supports, you got your channels, all that. Look for bend scribes, faces, and make sure you got your ovals cut out. So when you go to clean them up and stuff, make sure they're there. If it's not there, it's going to have to be, dealt with somehow, either reroute or you're going to have to cut them out, whatever. But don't bother prepping and bending something that doesn't have all the parts. So just make sure they're all there. Let's see. So this is better. You'll notice that the big boy is broken up into faces and skins that are in 5 total pieces because they're so big. So you have like a left, right, top quadrant, lower quadrant. These are nice because they can just be in basically 2 pieces and you're done with it. Again, these are all Lord's face up. So that way you install and everyone can see what direction these panels slide. So you want to see these. And then you'll have, what's nice is one piece backer. You can just Lords it on and be done. Again, just watch out for your left and your right. Want to make sure these are the right way. So you got your main tracks. Again, I was waiting on sending the panels. The panels will be coming in, you know, they are on their way, but we had to wait. So these are just the tracks though, keeping out for these. Let's see. So these are the decorative panels, if you will, the ones that are weird shapes and stuff. So look out for the tracks that are with each one, right bottom and right bottom. So I kind of broke those up. I did put S on these because these might look confusing. You know, if you just see this like routed strip with that scribe, this sort of looks like the bigger ones as well. So just to keep that, I did do the S's on these. So S is small. So you got the panels, you got the right top, that's the RT. So like I said, I broke it into the quadrants. This is middle top. So you can see that's the middle panel there. So look for MT, MB, middle bottom, and obviously that's where the little arrow circle goes. And then you got left bottom quadrant, and you've got your left top. So everything LT, and again, look for smalls. That way you don't confuse the other ones, because everything's 3 inches deep. So the depth is the same. So if you had a pile of these, it might be a little confusing. All right, so here's the panels. Now again, the panels here are just smaller, but the big boy, the exact same thing. So just go to town on this, or go to school on this, and then you'll know what's up. So let's see. Do I want to talk about the panels first? That's fine. These are separate anyway. So you can weld up. Let's talk about just welding up the panels. So you have your right top and your left top. You can see where that's LT over here, and you've got that right there, and then they just mirror. So I gave you one side to bend. So let's say like your left top here, you go ahead and just bend that, and then oh, looks like I missed the scribe mark on that one. So you just know to grab that. Just I told you on the video. So just like your other ones there. Yeah, looks like. Yeah, so I missed them. Anyway, so you'll bend those, and then you'll just reverse channel these. You can bend that, and then I gave you an inch long and an inch long on all of these. Inch long past that, and an inch long past that, and then just cut it. So that's all good there. And then on the ones that are this outer perimeter, you can see where I have this in green. This track is in green, and then it has the red screws versus the black screws here. What you're going to do there is, because there's not going to be, you can see this is the strap right here, and there's like on the small one, there's only 1 inch, and it's 3 inches deep. So there's no way to get to the hardware. So you're going to have, so the Hanzo main ones here, you're going to have the main track, and you're going to rivet it down, and then you're going to have these screws that slot in, just like the tester, right? You saw the tester, you can mess with it, you'll see what's up, right? So all of these are like conventional. Screws are in the face permanent, and you just slide it on, clunk. But because these are basically concealed, no access, they're flipped around where so this track has the groove in it, but this track does not have the groove. The track that you rivet to the face is going to have the screw sticking out. And then you'll see where this track, or this one that gets stuck to the inside, that has the grooves. So this track that gets riveted to the face of the cabinet has the grooves, and this will have the screws. But the top thing here, that will have the groove, and the screws will go into the part that goes on. So all these ones that are green, the main skin, or the main frame, will have screws sticking out. And then these panel boxes will have screws on the bottom, but they'll have no screws on the top, and it'll have grooves. So it'll be a mix match hybrid of, you know, grooves and screws. The main panels are all screws with the grooves on the actual, and I'm going to say screws and grooves a bunch more. Anyway, so that's the idea. So all these perimeter ones are kind of funky in that way. You can see it's the outer track that gets the screw on the actual frame box, and then the panel little box gets the groove. So to show you there, all you're going to do is Cleco it, and to keep it quick, because you're already burning this and it's going to already sort of warp it like a reverse channel letter, you're cool to just Cleco this in spot and then just work your way around. But just make sure that the track, you can see where the track is to the outside, right? So you'll have the track here and then the track there. So just make sure that you don't put it on the wrong side and have it on this side, and then we're all really sad. So just work your way through. But so all of these perimeter ones are all that way. So you're just gonna clamp, bend, and then go ahead and finish it off reverse channel style, and then just Cleco this in spot and kind of tack it all the way around, make it sexy, and then we're good. These are out to paint. And then just get all the other tracks bent. So like I say, anything green gets attached directly to the panel. So that's that. So go do those. That's for the big ones, the little ones. This one has a little more work. You're going to bend this top side, and then you're just going to work your way around. This skin is in 3 different sections. So let's see. Yeah. So like this top one here, the middle top section, you just bend and kind of curve it, and that just takes care of that. But this particular guy here, he's in one piece and then another piece, and then he's got these little side pieces here. So, all right, let's talk about the small frame here. So the frame is going to be what you know. It's just going to be C channel. Just make sure all your faces poke out. Your faces go to the face and all that. And then what you're going to do is you got mid verticals here that are C channel. And then you have your outer perimeter there. And then like we do, you've got your backer pieces that go to the back. That's where the mounting is going to happen. So that's these pieces here. But they're serving double duty. Not only are they the mounting pieces, but they will also, just like Loma Linda, you're going to bend these tabs. And these tabs are going to be where you put your LEDs. So if you look at this orange here, this is the kind of mimics where those holes are going to line up. So you're going to bend them. So you just make sure that the right side is the right side, and then those tabs will bend facing into the sign. And then the left side, same thing. The tabs will face and they'll bend to the inside of the sign. So there's just a mirror. Now, because this one, the bigger frame is big enough that it has 6 verticals, and then the 2 here take care of it. Because this one's smaller, this middle brace, you'll see here, does not have all of this nonsense on it. But that means that there was no way to support. So once you get this frame built, you're going to go ahead and Lords on the backer. And then once the backer's on there, then you can go ahead, because there's clearance on the back, you can just rivet these 2 basically C-channel struts. Let's see, where are they? Right here. These guys here in orange. So you'll see them. They're just basic struts. But these 2 here, once you rivet those on, just make sure they face in and this one faces in. That will mimic the same spacing for the white on whites. So we just have to kind of dummy up their own little white on whites there. But anyway, so you've made these though. The backer jigs are just the flat, look for the chamfers. They go to the inside, mounting holes and all that. So you just put that in there, basically like a C channel. So you get that up, get that built. You got 2 sets of jigs. You got your back jigs and your front jigs. That, let's see. I might have to investigate these jiggies a little bit. Yeah, we got the face jiggies. Yeah, I owe you some middle big jiggies, middle back jiggies, because we got these ones here, but we got to modify these. All right, so you'll be getting those. I'll get that handled. Let's see, small frame, go back. Yeah, I owe you these jiggies here. Okay, no big deal. Get those to you. Anyway, so yeah, this what helps with this. Kind of acts like a review. Okay, so you get this built, get that Lords on, get these riveted. So the backer or the actual mounting things, what you're going to be doing is chopping 1-inch little chunks of 1.5 by 3, and you're going to be making like little feet. This is the same for the big ones as well. I just broke it apart, but when you set the saw, get both quantities. Get your quantity 22 here, and I think it's quantity 26 or something with the other one. So add them all together and cut them all at once, save that time. And then what you're going to do is just line them up and just tack it / burn it. It doesn't, don't weld all the way around. It's not necessary. Just make sure it's on there nice and strong, but it's fine because it's just going to be clamped. So, and then what's going to happen is this is for install. Because this is a really retrofit and there's a lot of retro still there. And the fit part is this, that's the questionable term there. So the idea is that you will, from the inside of the sign, you will 1024 self-tap these legs onto the back of the sign. And then that will allow for adjustability, because when they go to put these in, they're going to put these cabinets inside the existing cabinets, and there's all kinds of nonsense in there. And it could actually have a lot of stuff like in the way. So let's see, I thought I had a side view of that. There it is, way over here. So anyway, yeah, so this will be your 1.5 by 3 with the 1 inch leg, and then you'll go through the strut and everything. And then theoretically, if everything's cool, then that lines up perfectly like that. But I went ahead and made 2 holes over here and 2 holes over here. That allows for this plate to slide over and reinstall on the fly. So when install goes to put this up and there's a bunch of junk or something's in the way or there's some sort of strut or something. So the reason why this is 1 inch off is this has to 4x over a bunch of stuff that's already in there that's about 1 inch tall. So anyway, so that's why we're going through this. But I went ahead and standardized it for both signs. So you're just going to weld up those plates, and then theoretically we'll start where they're supposed to be, behind the mounting hole. But install will have the ability to change that placement with these holes here, should they get out there and see that, or if they have to, they can move them over even more and just on the fly self-tap it against the back. So that's why I didn't want these permanently put in spot. We would just permanently attach them if we knew exactly what was going on. So anyway, just trying to give as much adjustability and modular action there. So anyway, and then once you get the frame on the back side all done, then your front jigs will have all the different like sticky outies here that then, this is a technical term. The sticky outies there will allow you to mount like your C channels for the faces, for the tracks and stuff. And then that's in the middle here. So you'll just go ahead and attach those and weld them up. So that way you'll have your main pieces here that go to the back. That's the main frame. And then in between is just a C channel on the face that allows to put track, and it allows it to mount the actual face. So you work your way around there. And then the front jigs will have the spars sticking out, and those spars, or these jigs will be sticking out ready for the spars. Now the spars are up here. They're all labeled. You got your left top, your right top. And what this does is this is going to give the ability to support, so you can see in purple right here, that's going to support the face that juts out. Same thing here. This is going to come to here, and it's going to be underneath, and that gives you something to lords to, and it supports that big floppy 090 face that's going to be sticking way out, because our frame is way back here. So all of this is just floppy 09. So you're going to take that spar, attach it. You see it there in purple. You're going to attach it to the jig back here, and then just like the inside struts, you have one leg that's really long. So make sure you bend it 1-2. Mic check. And then you can see here in purple that this spar goes all the way back across the entire frame. So here's the 1x here, and then here's the big long leg. Get in there and make sure you tack this nice to the frame. And then that's going to give the rigidity necessary to be able to lift this thing, because you're going to have to pick it up, around this perimeter, and this would just fold right up. So this spar is going to be doing work. So make sure that spar gets attached, really well to the frame. Go ahead and tack it up nice in there. And then also you can see where that supports the track and all that. So these spars are doing work. Same thing here. This spar comes down, kind of supporting this. You'll have a middle spar comes down, gives structure, and you can see where it'll help support the circle, give it that strength. So anyway, so you're going to do the track, or you're going to do this frame, you're going to do the middle C's, and then you're going to have these spars sticking out, and that's kind of what you're going to end up with. These spars are just beefy. They're on steroids because they have to hold up the whole cabinet up top. They'll have that weight. So that's why these are beefy quarters. The rest are just 09. It's fine. You know, while you're here, get that in there. You go ahead and hit that up with the 5/16 steel riv nuts. You'll see where it's recessed a little bit, so it's flush. And that's how the big box will get mounted on there. So let's see. So once you have your struts, everything's on there nice, everything's good, then that's when you can just go ahead and Lords on the face. And you'll have plenty of real estate to Lords like this one here. You know, just that's a nice 2-inch wide. You'll just Lords that really well. Just go all the way along, Lords it up really well, all the spars, and then go ahead and lay your faces in there. Again, when you're doing the big one, it's going to be in multiple pieces. So pop Lords, have buddy system. Make sure you got plenty of Lords. Don't let it kick off on you. You know, we're getting into the hot season when it's triple digits. That Lords will pop off pretty quick. So just, you know, be ready, lay your piece out, test fit it first, and then lay your piece somewhere so it's ready to grab quickly, and then go for it. But just, you know, got to hustle. So anyway, so get all your skins on there. You know, Lords face up, like I said. And then once that's all on there, then you're good to go. Then you can start laying on the tracks. So get your tracks all bent up, and then you can decide, you know, how to do that. But you're just going to get all your, you know, rivet all your tracks on there, and then make sure that you put your screws in first on some of these that are on the top here, because they can be kind of tight. But I think you can get, you know, let's see, that's 6 inches. So you probably could get the screw in there okay with a gun. But if not, like these blue ones here, maybe shoot your screw through first, and then you can rivet it on, and then that way you're good. Again, use those Torx ones. Bring in a bunch of those. These are that way, you know, people aren't tempted to just pop them out, because that's not the idea. These stay in permanently. Okay, so you get that. Where are we at? Take the skins, you're good there. Hammer on all your tracks, then you're good there. Get your boxes made. And then once your skins are done and your tracks are all on and everything's looking good, then you can go ahead and do the ears, I call them. You'll have already welded those up on your table. Like I said, you'll just put them on a 3x3, weld it along the back. This is where I was hoping you'd catch that. Do not weld on the inside. It's only on the back. The 3x3 side, leave clean. Then you're just gonna Lords really, really well all the way on there. And then make sure it lines up. I test fit it, obviously, because this is going to warp a little bit. So you might have to kind of adjust it, kind of get its attention. Make sure it fits, though. And then you can go ahead and Lords these on next. So get all that skin on there, get your tracks, put these on, then you're good to go. The boxes and the circle do not have to go on in the shop. Maybe do a test fit, make sure everything fits. But you know, you're going to send those out to paint separately, and they are also going to be installed separately. That's the idea. That way we don't have this hanging off there and getting bent or damaged. Same thing here. It's all modular. So just like your big one, like I said in the video, you're just going to put it face down on your table. That's your first shot there. Tack it all along the back. This one's on 4x4s. And then you can flip it over and strengthen it up and get inside there and weld all around and make sure the inside seams are all welded up nice. And then that's it. Box is ready to go. Now, again, just like the big one, you've got your first, second, and third, you know, steps. So you're going to take the top skinny piece, and you're going to take face up backer, and you're just going to put it on your table, line up with the bend scribes there, or the reference kisses. Get that reference kiss here lined up there, and then go ahead and burn that on your table. Make sure it's as flat as possible, because it needs to be flush. And remember, it's on the outside. It's not reverse channel letter style. It's on the outside. Then you're going to flip it over and then put it on the 4x, and then that is your piece here and your piece here. And then the same thing, you're just going to line up that with that reference kiss there. And then just from the back side, go all the way around, you're good to go. Except on this one, whichever one, it doesn't matter, but you'll have the flange coming out an inch. But you'll just have to tuck under, it's fine. But you're going to have the teeth. And then you'll do the third thing, just like the other one, flip it over, you know, seal it up, make it nice and, you know, strong and everything. Same thing here. You'll just have flanges on the back, but, you know, treat it the same. Now for the one trellis one, you're going to have some C channels that are going to basically be a filler, a little support. You're going to bend those up here, and then you're also going to have, you're going to have the teeth on this one versus just this one's all by itself. you can rivet from the inside. Again, trying to save lords and all that. You're going to rivet from the inside and make it on the back side. And then you'll see where the flange meets up with that. And that gives you an overall place to lords everything. So you can see where that strut's there, and then you'll have your perimeter teeth. So what I would do is just grab the backer, and you can put lords across these really good. And then I would just lords this really good on the backer itself and just go ahead and smush all the way around. And then you just go ahead and put it on the back side of the, of that. And then that gets bonded up and cleaned up. So let's talk install. There's a couple things, but we've already talked about it. I already talked to Jonathan. We still need to decide what the best way to do a pattern, because, this thing's 4 something inches and then you have an inch back with these things. There's no real way to make the oval, because the oval sits on the face. So the paper pattern of the oval doesn't do any good. So maybe do a paper pattern of this rectangle with these holes, and then maybe even overlay it on some really thin plywood or something, or some Sintra, just burn some Sintra or something, and then, spray it down. And then you can set that in there, and it'll at least give you, you can set it inside. Like I say, that's the orange there. That's the existing. So at least you can maybe, just get it, kind of measure it from there to there, and get it where you like it, and kind of measure it from there to there. And you can get this rectangle thing kind of centered in the oval, and then get it level. And then you can burn your holes through here, and here. Now the 3 that go on the wall, excellent. It goes all the way through. You burn through, bring some all thread or whatever. The one that goes in the trellis, I've noticed that you'll have the framing all the way around, and then it attaches to its framing and whatever. But the backer itself, you're going to have to make that decision when you get out there, whether or not that backer is going to be beefy enough to sort of hold it all up. I was thinking that where the existing frame that's 5 inches deep gets close to this framing, because you're not going to see it because it's up so high, you might just try to help support this whole thing. So rather than just be relying on the back bolts and then the backer itself, if you can get some sort of bolt or something, or even self-tap from this side through their framing and just down and dirty catch catch our framing, and at least get some screws or a through bolt. What I was thinking is you could drill through with the same 1/2 inch, because you're going to be using 1/2 inch hardware to mount this. So if you bring some extra bolts, because like I say, this is only, that's only 2 inches. So it's right there. So if you brought some like 3-inch bolts or even 4-inch bolts, and, if you were to come through this side through their existing framing and just burn through ours and just burn, boom, slide a bolt in there. And then that way you can at least get a washer and a nut. And this bolt here, wherever it fits. But at least at that point, we have, the vertical shear strength on the backer, but then we get some sort of hanger additional help here and here. So like I say, the jigs are flat in one piece in that corner. So you could just randomly get your gun in there. It doesn't have to be pretty. And then make sure it penetrates through a spot in their framing that maybe you could work a 1/2 inch bolt through there, and then throw some washers and stuff. That way we'll have hanging support directly onto the main thing. Like I say, these frames without the boxes aren't that heavy. They're about 100 pounds. But once we get all these panels in there that have all the backed up plex and stuff, these things are going to be relatively heavy. So it's just the trellis one, right? Because you're just relying on that back, but maybe a little augmented there for the trellis one. Otherwise, I'm confident the ones that are on the wall, they're going to be fine. So, but it's going to be a little bit challenging for install, as always. So that's it for those frames and everything. I think you guys got it. It's easier if there's any questions, hit me up. Don't start chopping on things and, oh, this didn't fit or whatever. Just, hit me up. I noticed there's a few little discrepancies. Like I said, I forgot the holes on that. It looks like I owe you back jigs here, so I'm going to send those right now. But just communicate, hit me up. Honest, I'll be there in 10 minutes, if you need me to look at something or whatever. So let's talk about the panels though while we're here. I know it's a long one, but this is it. So we waited and waited and waited, and we finally got confirmation on the panels. Oh, and then speaking of panels, one more thing. So these are fine though. Bend them up, shoot studs. And then what you're going to do is, just weld it up. It's fine. That's it for these. You've got faces, big and small. But you're going to have an on-center reference kiss on all these. And I'll show you what that's for. So we're going to do the acrylics. The acrylics are going to be routed face up. I know they're usually routed face back, face down the backers and stuff when we do push-throughs. So this is for reference. So the way this is going to work is because the centers are so small, and the fact that we're doing backed up 09, that it's really not going to work, especially like on the Travis here. There was no way to get in the script of that. So what we decided to do is we're going to do a satin vinyl that's going to match the Matthews. And these are going to be applied directly to the backers. We haven't done this, but that way we're all good to go. But that's why it's important that we follow the reference kiss. So when you go to put these in there, I know you have a little bit of room to play, but you're going to be using that because hopefully Pete and Ma are going to pay attention to this, and they're going to have these little reference things here, and then that's going to allow them to register these directly and perfectly what they need to be, and then that way it all lines up. So that way, MC, all this matches up nice. Especially this is what the problem was, is like, how do you do that with push through or whatever? So it was almost forced to do the vinyl. But again, this matches. So anyway, so that's that. But let's see. I'll talk about this for Pete right now. So first shot, here's the idea, and I already kind of talked to him on the phone, but this is the first time we're going to be able to turn off layers. We're trying just like we do with route. We've been doing it forever. It's like, why didn't we do this before with first shot? So what I'm doing, Pete, is you're going to be able to shut off the information here. So you hide that. And then this is just what you're supposed to plot. But you can see where if I were to send this over, I mean, this is obvious here, but if I was just to send this over, how would you know where is this one big panel here, or is this all one big panel? So what you can do is make the info, you see here, it says info only, do not plot. You turn that on, and then this shows you, which one's which. Now, Pete, what you're going to do is you're going to take these, and this will be your reference. So this is the Aloe, this is Levi's. And then you're going to take that acrylic, and then you're going to take these and match them up. What I'm thinking is if you could use the clear transfer paper, you're going to have these are going to be your registration marks. These are 3/8 holes that match our stud holes. So you're just going to find like the Levi's there. This is for the bigs. Let's see. The bigs has the Levi's. So you'll take like Levi's there, and you'll see where these holes here match up there, and then you'll take your clear transfer and right there, and you'll go ahead and line up. Don't crash. There you go. You'll line up those holes, and that's your registration mark. And then that's it. Lay it down and burn it. You'll see where Travis, I do you a solid there. Try not to waste too much material. You still have this is the shape of that, but that is just for your information. You hide that layer. This is all you need to wrap or plot. And then you'll just be using the bottom holes of Travis Matthews. But otherwise, it's worth it on these. So let's look for Lulu, look for whatever that is, 148, Coach, just keep an eye out. There's your Marc Jacobs, your Tory, whatever, Burberry, and stack them up, do all your vinyls, do them on the clear transfer if that works for you, or however you guys do it, your Balenciaga and stuff. But when you open this file, it's going to be a DXF, not an EPS. It's going to be a DXF, and then you have you'll see, you can go into, I think it's Project Manager or Project something. You got to find it. But anyway, if you haven't messed with it, but I'll be over there. We can, show you what's up. So panel locks. So for install, so all of these panels, I've already showed you, you can tighten these panels up by moving the sound, this back and forth. The shoebox fit can make it tight. but I made them a little bit loose because these are going to be painted and we don't want to be scraping the paint. You know, we don't want it on there so tight that you have to pound it into a spot and it's going to, you know, scrape the paint and whatnot. So they are a little bit loose, but you can adjust it. You know, I have a 16th here, but actually by the time you weld it and everything, that 16th is not that. So panel locks. So since you're not going to have any sort of hardware or anything accessible, you're going to, you know, like, so all the left tops and the, you know, that's the direction of slide. So you start over here and you're going to slide it that way. So when you go to install all these panels, you'll see these. So you'll look on the inside of the panel. It'll have, you know, left bottom. And then you'll go over here and there's left bottom. So that's your direction of slide. So you'll start over here, lock it in, slide over, and it'll stop. Bonk. Just bonk it, you know, slide it till it bonks. It locks into place that way. Now, theoretically, it could just sit there, but you never know. There could be a wind, there could be a little earthquake, and things kind of start shifting. So the way we're going to lock these into place without being able to access any sort of hardware. So you're going to have these panel locks. So in between each of these, you're going to have these little squares and these little crosses. If you go to the very front. Or where's panel locks? There. So the big ones and the small ones will have these. These will go in between each of the panels and you'll just do a number 10 right in the middle. And that's how, and so the fact that these channels are 3 inches deep, you're hardly going to see these because they'll all be black and these will be 3 inches deep. It's only 1 inch apart here. So you're going to put all your panels in place. And then you're going to take these little squares and you're going to stick them in the intersections and you're going to nail them down. And that's going to keep things from sliding around. And these are going to be locked in place. So you only have to do, you'll have 6 here and then you'll have 1 here. So you'll have all the way up like Main Street here, you'll have 4. And then you'll have 2 up top and 2 down here. And these panels will be all locked in place and they can't go anywhere. So it's a nice compromise. So all you need to do is one of these. I did some extras, I believe I did, but just make sure you don't drop them or lose them. So without that, so keep that in mind. Look for these things. That's a very important part to finishing this. That'll be the last thing you do. You'll slide on all your boxes and you'll lock each of them in place. And that way, if you ever have to service it or if they change the name of this place, you just need to like pop these 2 and you can take this panel out or whatever, you know, whichever way it slides. You just take that, slide it out, good to go. So, all right, so that's a lot of explaining. There's a lot going on. I hope it makes sense. Please just, you know, like I said, there's a lot. So you're going to have questions, hit me up. Please do before you start chopping and hacking. We'll talk about it. So, all right, that's it. Good luck. Hit me up if you have any questions.